Don't make these 7 deadly mistakes if you want to get the absolute best out of your DJI mic, like mistake number 1, not setting up proper gain staging. Gain staging is where the audio gets amplified in the various parts of the system before it gets recorded into the final video file. In the DJI mic system, there's a few different places where gain or amplification of the signal can be applied. The first is in the transmitter itself, the second is in the receiver, and the third is in the actual camera body that you're connecting the receiver up to. First, you want to set the gain on the transmitter itself. This is going to depend on how loud or how quiet the person is talking. Next, you want to set the gain on the receiver itself. This is how much the signal is going to be amplified before it gets sent down the cable to the camera. And third, you want to set up the volume or the gain that's being applied inside the camera itself. Mistake 2 is related to mistake 1, and that's to set the transmitter level so high that it causes clipping of the audio signal. Everyone talks at different volumes, so depending on who you're attaching the transmitter to, you're going to want to set either a lower level or higher level of amplification or gain for the transmitter. Also keep in mind that some people have a very kind of monotone volume level, whereas some people will go loud and very quiet and loud and very quiet. So you just want to ask the person that you're attaching the microphone to speak in a normal way and show you how high and how low their voice goes so you can set a correct transmitter level. Even if you're using the safety track feature of the DJI mic, if you set the transmitter level so high that the audio clips here, the safety track might not even be able to help you. While we're on the subject of safety tracks, mistake number 3 is not processing a safety track file into mono when you're editing your video. If you don't do this, then you're going to end up with quiet talking on the left side and loud talking on the right side, for example, which is going to sound terrible. If you're using the safety track, all you need to do in your video editing software is to make sure you convert the stereo audio to mono and then choose either the left or right track depending on whether or not you want the safety channel version. Mistake number 4 is really easy to do if you're in a rush, and that's to accidentally plug in the audio cable into the headphone out socket and not the out socket on the receiver. If you do this, you're going to end up with terrible sounding audio because the signal level is not going to be correct for the camera. Mistake number 5 is to use mono mode on the receiver when you're using 2 transmitters on 2 separate people. If you use mono mode when you're using 2 transmitters, you're not going to be able to separate the audio out from person 1 and person 2. That means that you're going to get a single signal with all of the 2 voices mixed together automatically, and that means you're not going to be able to set volume levels for the 2 people differently when you're editing your video, and also apply things like EQ separately to each person. Mistake 6 is to not use the safety track feature when you're just using 1 transmitter on 1 person. The safety track feature gives you a second copy of the audio on one side of the stereo signal that's lower in volume than the normal level. That means if you accidentally overload or clip the audio, you can potentially save it by using the safety track lower level volume audio. While we're on the subject of safety nets, mistake 7 is to not use backup internal recording on the transmitters and relying purely on the audio recorded in the camera. The DJI mic transmitters have internal memory, so you can record internally to them as well as recording the audio into the video file using the camera. What that means is if you have a problem with the audio in the camera, for example the audio cable coming out or the volume set too high or too low on the camera, you can use the backup audio recording recorded internally in these transmitters and then just sync up the audio to the video in post. To really get to know the DJI mic system and get the best out of it, you should check out this video next where I take you through all of the features and also how to set it up completely so you can get the best possible audio out of this system. I'm Jason Roberts. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video.